Kinda,
Yeah, so
he kind of knows, but
right after 9/11.
do what? What is it? What is it?
In the days and years that followed, brave young men from the Custis colonies entered the Coast. They left behind their homes, their families, and their urgent ability to take up arms and defend the promise of liberty. They fought not just for land, but for an idea, that freedom would belong to all who hold this nation firm. Many years later, our country chose to set aside a day to recognize all who have carried that same spirit of sacrifice and service. Veterans Day was established to honor the men and women of every generation who have worn our nation's uniform. Each of them stood ready to defend our country, our people, and the freedoms that define us as Americans. Today we come together to celebrate and honor those heroes, past and present, who have bravely answered the call of duty. From the first patriots who declared, "We the people of the United States," to those still serving around the world today, we thank you for your courage, your sacrifice, and your love for this great nation.
At this time, please stand for the presentation of the flags to join us in the pledge of allegiance, followed by the national anthem.
Flags behind us.
Join me in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing and join us in showing respect to our nation as the pride of Seminole performs our national anthem.
If you are a veteran with us today, we invite you to stand and be recognized as your branch flag is presented. Please join us in welcoming the Seminole High School choir under the direction of Mr. Garrett Baker as they honor each branch through song by performing the official military anthems.
First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along. Then it's high, high, hey, the justice is our guide, our fame, our glory too. To fight, to save, or fight and die, I Coast Guard, we are for you.
That sounded pretty good, didn't it?
Please join us in recognizing these veterans. We ask you that you stand as. First one is Joseph Mole. He was branch of service active duty in the Army. His rank was a corporal. He served in 214 fires.
Brigade.
Towards Oklahoma.
It's a lot of lingo.
He was branched in the Army National Guard and served for 21 years. He was ranked as Sergeant First Class and was served as a first and 160th at Shawnee, Seminole, and Louisville.
Stanford.
Brady Carter. He was ranked service as an Army and served for 38 years. He served in Iraq, and his family members are named Carter. He was branched as the U.S. Marine Corps and served for 10 years. From 1970 to 1980, he was ranked as a corporal and also a Vietnam veteran. He served in the Gulf 29 and 3rd Marine Division.
Uh-oh. It's all good, just skip.
He served in the Air Force for 20 and a half years. Lastly, we have Billy Dad. First Vietnam and NAS Myanmar. Yeah. Thank you very much. Paul Frank. You served in Lake Michigan?
Well, I was on the blue tender and a short station.
Major. Right.
Ranked captain, served in Fort Stewart, GA Camp Swampy.
Georgia? Oh my goodness.
We have Nolan Cummings, who served in the U.S. Army for 3 years and was ranked SPC-4. He served in Germany. He served in I-34 armor and roaming in Iraq. I have Sheila J. Potter, who served in the Navy for 16 months, who was a diesel mechanic. She was serviced at the boot camp of Orlando and Charleston, South Carolina.
That sounds hot.
He served in the Air Force for 21 years, including sergeant major. He served at 137 AWOK-ANG. His range of service was in the U.S. Army. He served for 8 years. His rank is E6.
That's it.
Please give another round of applause.
Think you're up. Maybe. Who knows? If you fall out, don't let that flag touch the ground. Or I'm to that point where I have to have readers, but if it's too far away, then those don't help. So I don't.
Air Force, Navy, Marines, and Coast Guard are setting up tables in a way that symbolizes the members of the military who are missed from our ends. They are commonly called POWs or MIAs. Some call them brothers. Here we see our fallen soldiers table.
The table is a small, single-place setting, symbolizing the vulnerability of a lone prisoner against his captors. The tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their allegiance to responsibility.
It's also going on with to remind us of the bitter fate of those captured in missing in our foreign land.
The grains of salt is to remind us of the tears endured by those missing and their families who still seek answers.
The black napkin reminds us of the sorrow of captivity.
The single red rose displayed in a vase reminds us of the life and the blood that was shed and the loved ones and friends who keep the faith and avoid answers. The vase is tied with a red ribbon, giving the loved ones and friends the intention of not words.
The glass is inverted to symbolize their inability to share the sweet food.
The chairs end. They are not here. They will make so until they return or are not here.
The candle is reminiscent of the life
did not hear that.
This morning, we are honored to welcome our keynote speaker, Mr. Mike Mitchell. Mr. Mitchell is a proud citizen of the Chickasaw Nation and currently serves as the Chief Tribal Liaison Officer for Chickasaw Nation Industries. With more than 25 years of leadership experience, he has dedicated his career to building strong partnerships between tribal communities, businesses, and government organizations. Mr. Mitchell also served our country for 20 years in the United States Army and Oklahoma Army National Guard, rising from private to major. During his military career, he served in the Gulf War and the Global War on Terrorism, earning numerous honors, including the Bronze Star for combat operations in Iraq. He continues to serve his community through leadership roles in several organizations and as a deacon at the Fitztown Church of Christ. He and his wife Michelle make their home in Ada, Oklahoma, where they raise horses and hay and enjoy time with their 4 daughters and granddaughter. Please help me welcome today's keynote speaker, Mr. Mike Mitchell.
Well, good morning, students, faculty, distinguished guests, and especially our honored veterans. Today, on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, we gather to observe Veterans Day. This day marks the anniversary of the end of major hostilities during World War I in 1918, a day originally called Armistice Day. Today, we refer to it as Remembrance Day or Veterans Day. Over time, after World War II, in the Korean War, it was expanded to honor all that have worn the uniform of the United States Armed Forces in wartime and in peace. I'm deeply humbled and honored to stand before you and recognize the service and sacrifice of these remarkable men and women. Can we give them one more round of applause, please? For many of you in the audience, the concept of military service might feel distant. You are focused on your studies, your friends, your future, Friday night ball games. The wars you hear about on the news might seem like events that are happening a million miles away from here. But every single day, the freedoms that you enjoy in this school, in this community, are protected by individuals who have, and at some point in their lives, decided to put on a uniform and make the defense of our nation their personal responsibility. So what does that mean for you today in this high school auditorium? It means that when you speak your mind in class, when you write for your school paper, when you gather to support a cause you believe in, when you're exercising the rights that veterans have stood watch over for generations. Right. Let me offer a brief story just to sort of frame this for you. Imagine for a moment a high school student just much like yourself. Let's call him John. John was involved in athletics, played football, soccer, baseball, wrestled, and had plans for college. But after graduation, John felt a different call. He felt a call to serve. He joined the Navy. That's kind of hard for me to say as an Army guy. But he joined the Navy, leaving behind his family, his home, and his familiar life. His time in the service was not a Hollywood movie, right? It was long days, hard work, moments of intense fear, and deep camaraderie. Let me rephrase that. Deep, deep camaraderie with others that serve along John. He served on a ship, ensuring that the global shipping lanes remained open so goods could travel safely to our shores here in America. He didn't seek fame or didn't seek recognition. He simply answered the call of duty. So I ask you, do you enjoy when you order things from Amazon and Temu that they arrive to your house safely and on time? If so, you need to thank John when you see him. Stories like John are the fabric of our nation's history. Nearly 42 million Americans have served in our armed forces since the country's founding, and over 25 million veterans are still with us today. They come from every corner of the country, from different backgrounds and for different reasons for joining, but they share a common commitment to the ideal, the American ideal of freedom and democracy. Freedom, as we often hear, has a price, and each generation pays its dues. Today is our day to say thank you to those who have paid dearly, and to the families whose lives are forever changed by the loved one's services. You know, as a soldier that got deployed, it wasn't just I that got deployed. My family, my wife Michelle and our 4 daughters, they were deployed as well, because they had to learn how to live day to day without me being there. And that's tough for families. And so we just need to make sure that we always remember not just our veterans, but our veterans' families as well. Our appreciation cannot end with just words, though. John F. Kennedy once said, as we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. So I challenge you, students, I challenge you today to think about how you can live in a way that honors the sacrifice made by our veterans. The defense of freedom isn't solely for those in the military. Each of us share that duty and responsibility. So ask yourself, how can you do this? You can be an engaged citizen. Register to vote and vote when you turn 18. Stay informed on the issues that affect our nation and our world. Participate in your local community. You can make a difference in the lives of veterans directly. Sometimes just sitting down to talk with a veteran or their family member can go a long way. You can volunteer with organizations that support veterans, like the Disabled American Veteran Association or the American Legion. And most importantly, you can embrace the values that veterans protect. Values like courage, sacrifice, honor, patriotism, integrity, citizenship, and selfless service. These men and women, whether from the battlefields of World War II, the jungles of Vietnam, or the deserts of the Middle East, or standing a watch during times of peace, have exemplified these traits. They remind us that the American way of life is unique and incredibly special. So I'd like to end with a powerful observation, and often attributed to a veteran named Charles Providence. It is a soldier who salutes the flag, who serves beneath the flag, and whose coffin is draped by the flag, which allows the protester to burn the flag. Let that sink in for me. Just let it sink in. So being able to speak your mind, speak freely in this country is provided to you by the freedoms and the democracy that these veterans support and defend. This highlights the profound depth of our freedom that veterans provide, our freedom to express even unpopular opinions. On this Veterans Day, let's reflect on these individuals, their stories, and their unwavering commitment to our country. Let their example inspire you to answer your own call to serve our communities and our nation. To all the veterans here today, and to all those across our country, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for your service, your sacrifice, and your unwavering commitment to our country. May we never forget their bravery, their valor, and their profound contribution to the defense of our nation. God bless you all. God bless Seminole Public Schools. God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much.
Well, that's going to be a hard act to follow.
No, you got it. You can do it.
Good job. Very well done.
Our next keynote speaker is Mr. Gary King, a proud veteran of the Oklahoma National Guard. Mr. King is first who was in the 2002 and served in both Afghanistan and Iraq, taking part in major combat operations during the global war on terror. Over the course of his career, he became a weapons expert, a flight engineer, and a leader, training thousands of soldiers in over 2,000 flight hours, including 800 hours combat. For his bravery and service, he earned the Combat Energy Badge, the Air Medal, and the Meritorious Service Medal. Please join me in welcoming Mr.
Well, good morning, and thank you for attending our Veterans Day Assembly today. I'd like to thank Dr. Gregg, Mrs. Wilmette, General Carter, Mr. Mitchell, the veterans, distinguished guests, for their presence today. 22 years ago on Christmas Eve, I stood in the military entrance processing station and took an oath. I raised my right hand and I repeated these words. I, Garrett Napier, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and that I will obey the orders of the President of the United States and the orders of the officers appointed over me, according to the regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God. This is the same oath recited by millions of soldiers, Marines, sailors, and airmen throughout the years. I took my position in the ranks alongside a mixed group of individuals from across our country. I served alongside individuals who were white, black, Hispanic, Native American, Asian, and even some non-citizens who were earning their pathway to citizenship through service. The military consists of city slickers, urbanites, country bumpkins, nerds and muscleheads, the educated and those who barely earned their GED, surfers and skaters, as well as artists and blue-collared workers. The military is truly a mixed bag of individuals who share a common love for country and a willingness to serve a cause greater than their own. Not everyone who enters the military enters of their own accord. In times of war, America has drafted individuals to fill the military needs. In World War II, approximately 10 million men were drafted into service. The Korean War saw 1.5 million men drafted, and approximately 2.2 million men were drafted during the Vietnam War. The United States military has relied on a volunteer force since the mid-1970s. It must be said that no matter how an individual came to join the military ranks, each person, drafted or volunteer, answered their country's call and deserves our country's utmost respect. A little background on myself. At the age of 10, my parents moved the family overseas. They were missionaries, and I lived in 5 different countries until the age of 18. I lived in Thailand, Philippines, Pakistan, Singapore, and Malaysia. I came to love the cultures and the country, and especially the food, of many other nations. But my time overseas fostered in me and solidified a love for my country. As I saw how other governments operated, as other cultures worked with each other, I realized that America, though we have failed in some areas, does it better than anyone else. During my time in Pakistan, I became close friends with some Marine Corps embassy guards. That fostered in me a love for the military. I loved their discipline, their camaraderie, the way that they were willing to, in many cases, lay down their life for others. And I had decided when I graduated that I was going to join the United States Marine Corps. My dad wasn't opposed to it, but I had scholarships to go to college, and so he tried to steer me in the opposite direction for a period of time and said, why don't you go do college, and then when you're done with that, you can join the military. I'm grateful that he did, because it was in college that I began dating and ended up marrying my wife, Rebecca. We were married in 2001, July 2001, and just a few months later, September 11th, 2001 happened. I remember sitting at the bar in our little trailer house watching the news on a tiny little tube TV, looking at things unfolding in New York City. And my brother and I vowed that night that we were going to join the military and serve our country. My wife, a young bride, asked me to please give her a year. And so, being the overachiever that I am, I gave her about a year and a half, and then I joined the military. My military service, I served as an infantryman in Delta Company 180th in Shawnee as a tow gunner, an anti-tank tow gunner. In 2008, and I remember this day well, on August the 5th, 2008, I was interviewing for a job in an aviation unit. And when I left the interview, I got a call from my wife letting me know that my son Aiden had been born. And in December 23rd, 2015, I received an honorable discharge from the military. I would be remiss today if I didn't acknowledge the millions of military spouses who sacrifice significantly for their country as well. My wife had to endure years of separation from her husband when I was gone to training or deployments. She was left at home to care for a young boy all by herself while I was in Iraq. God was gracious to give me a wife with Rebecca. Though she didn't engage in firefights or have to ruck 60-pound packs on a forced road march, her sacrifice was real. So thank you, spouses who remained at home and endured through the loneliness and separation so that your military member could serve. I could spend hours telling you stories about my experience in the military. I had many wonderful experiences, and as all the veterans here can attest to, I had many unpleasant days. I would like, however, to use the remainder of my time to present you with a charge. As we think of the millions of veterans and current service members, I would ask you to consider if this might be a calling for you, and if not, how you might serve your country that has given you so much in opportunity and freedom. President Kennedy, in his inaugural address in 1961, spoke these famous words, "And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country." For many of us present today, our right service to our country is to be an exceptional citizen. It may be that your best service in your country is to pursue education and work in finance or as a teacher or in the service industry or any other possible job as an upstanding member of society. Some of you may be called to political service on behalf of your city or state, or a life of service in the medical field. Often our best contribution to society is to get married, have children, and provide a stable home setting to raise the next generation of Americans. For some, however, the call to service may include the military in one of our 5 branches. I say for a few because this calling has always been for a very small percentage of our population. At any given time in our country's history, less than 1% of the population has served in the military. Entrance into the military isn't guaranteed. Today, it's harder to get into the military service than entrance into college. To join the military, you must meet minimum requirements for physical fitness and mental aptitude. You must be drug-free and have a generally clean criminal record. Military service is demanding and difficult. Basic training alone is physically demanding and even more demanding mentally. Many who are willing to serve are unable to complete the initial training requirements. But those who persevere earn the right to stand proud with all those who have gone before as members of the most effective and distinguished fighting force the world has ever seen. I would ask you to consider today if your contribution to society might include service in our United States military. Would you consider devoting 2 years, 12 years, or 20 years to your country? Would you be willing to consider full-time service in the Navy or the Air Force, or part-time service in the Marine Corps Reserves or the Army National Guard? Consider the mottos of our various branches. The Army's motto, "This we'll defend." The Marines, "Semper Fidelis," always faithful. The Navy, "Semper Fortis," always courageous. The Air Force, "Aim high, fly, fight, win." And the Coast Guard, "Semper Paratus," always ready. Along with these mottos, the military operates with the high values of loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. These are high standards called for professionalism and excellence to be displayed by the military members. Are these values that you already display or values that you aspire to? If so, the military may be a good option for you to consider. Some serve their country for a hope of obtaining American citizenship. Some serve for the educational opportunities that the military offers, or the job preparation they receive to be used after their enlistment. Some serve because they don't yet know what they want to do with their lives and hope that the structure of the military will help them find their way. No matter the stated reason of service, it can be said that everyone who puts on a United States military uniform did so for a basic desire to give back to their country in some small way. Would you consider giving yourself to a cause bigger than yourself by serving your country in the armed forces? If so, you would be joining a long tradition of individuals who aren't great in and of themselves, just willing to devote a portion of their lives giving back to their country. There are some of you here present today who are already in the process of enlisting, and I'd like to thank you for your willingness to serve. Thank you to all the veterans, past and present. Thank you for all attending today and your consideration of this honored calling. HIgh, infantry, lead the way.
You want to throw that one in
I had
there?
to.
Good job, buddy. You did a good job.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. Your name's on the wall. You get to come back.
For a truly grateful for the sacrifices you made and the inspiration you've given us. Before we pull the flag, we will now watch a special presentation honoring veterans close to our hearts. Featuring family members of
When you quoted JFK, I thought, oh crap, we're going to use the same quote.
continue to make us proud. Following the video, we would like to invite our veteran teacher,
I had that one.
Mr. Shane Stanley,
I had that one. I believe so. Thomas was active, I believe. Mr. It's Mr. Thomas. Guess we should stand for this. Should we? You're the boss. Okay. If he doesn't stand, I'm not standing.
The portion of the flag known in honor is the canton of blue containing the stars representing the states our veterans served in uniform. The field of blue addresses from left to right is inverted only when draped as a funeral cloth over the casket of a veteran who served our country honorably in uniform. In the U.S. Armed Forces, at the ceremony of retreat, the flag is lowered, folded in a triangle, and kept under watch throughout the night as a tribute to our nation's honored dead. The next morning, it is brought out and, at a ceremony of reveal, flown high as a symbol of belief in the resurrection of the flag. The first fold of our flag is a symbol of life. The second fold signifies our belief in eternal life. The third fold is made in honor and tribute of the veteran departing our ranks and who gave a portion of his life for the defense of our country's safety.
The fourth fold exemplifies our weaker nature as citizens trusting in God. It is to Him we turn for His divine guidance.
The fifth fold is an acknowledgement to our country for, in the words of Stephen Devinger, our country in dealing with other countries may she always be right, but it's still our country, right or wrong.
The sixth fold is for where our hearts lie. It is with our heart that we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The seventh fold is a tribute to our armed forces, for it is to the armed forces that we lift our country and the flag of its all things.
The eighth fold is a tribute to the one who entered into the valley of the shadow of death,
up unfolded in the Ivy League citizens represents the realization of the sin of King David and King Solomon and glorifies in their eyes the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
The 12th fold in the eyes of the Christian citizen represents the minimum of eternity and glorifies in their eyes God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Ghost.
The last fold in the flag is completely folded. The stars are uppermost, reminding us of our national motto, "In God we trust."
Thank you, sir.
We sincerely thank you for your service, your sacrifice, and your unwavering dedication to our country. We take great pride in honoring you and hope you share that same life, having served in the various military in the world. Thank you to everyone for joining us today to recognize and celebrate our heroes past and present. Thank you, veterans, and thank you for your service.
Yeah, I believe so. He won't need. Well done. Play that at my funeral,
Well done. I've heard a lot of bad towel plays before.
and it wasn't a mic with those recorders. He's all the way at the top.